All right, so we need to make a little bit of room, and today I'm going to get started doing that. Done a lot of measuring to figure out where I need to cut at. I probably spent, I don't know, a good 3 hours yesterday doing measurements. Got a temporary plumb bob center line for the rear axle set up here. That's just close enough so that I can start cutting metal out. Did a little bit of measuring, made some cuts from the top side. All this would come out all the way to this line right here, to the frame unibody. Got a cut coming along right there. That's going to continue down into this, I'm going to call this stuff frame rail. Anyway, we cut it about right here. You can see the cut that I made in the top metal through that hole. What I'm working on right now is figuring out how much has to come out so that this subframe will go straight up in there, and what I can leave and still use as structural strength. Good times. Got a lot of room back here. The subframe ends quite a ways before the car does. Well, there's something you don't see every day. What we need is some temporary supports to hold the engine cradle in position while we build the reel mounts. Otherwise, we have to build the reel mounts somewhere out in three-dimensional space at a location that we don't even know where it's at. So this should help. All right. What I have here is a couple welded on nuts. Trying to fabricate some mounts that do not get in the way of the regular mounts. Something that's a little bit adjustable. What I'm going to do is put this in the middle of this hole. That'll give me adjustment left to right. Since the hole's oval, I'll just put it approximately in the center and torque it down. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I cut this little ear off the original suspension mount. Bolt that up there. Set this in place. Get this set to the right height, approximately the right height. Then I will weld this plate to the angle. I'll weld this plate to this plate that's bolted onto here. And then I'll be able to adjust it up and down and back and forth about 3/4 of an inch and get everything squared up, lined up exactly where I need it. If I need to go left or right, I'll be able to loosen these bolts in the front and slide it back and forth about a 1/2 inch either way, I think is what it gives me. And at the back I've got approximately the same thing. This is mounted on the mounts for the anti-roll bar. Gives me a little bit of back and forth play. It's slotted. That'll come back to this. I've only got one bolt back here, because once I get the front solid enough, I think one bolt will hold this. I'm not going to take you along for the entire full-on fight to get this thing lined up exactly where it needs to be. That's going to be a bit time consuming. Get these brackets welded on once I get it in place, and hopefully this works. All right then, we've got this mounted solid enough so it's not going to move once we get it perfectly positioned as far as its forward aft position and height, and we also have to have it perfectly square. Once I get that in position, then I can move on to making my subframe mounts and getting them in position on the subframe. Once I get those in position on the subframe, I'll attach them to the body of the car temporarily, and I'll attach them to each other with a temporary brace running along the side of them. Put a brace between the two of them at the back, and then I'll run a brace up here to hold all four of those in position so they don't twist or shift when I take the subframe assembly back off. Once I have all that braced, I can take the subframe off and I don't have to worry about anything in the back sagging down. I can cut out all this inner fender well and all this metal that's in the way for the strut tower to go in. I'll have my subframe mount points set up. I'll be able to bring my negative jig thingy in, bolt it to my subframe mounting points, and it'll show me exactly where the top of my strut tower has to go. Once I get that set in place, I'll be able to figure out exactly where my frame rail needs to go. I'll be able to figure out where my supports can go for the top of my strut towers. And I'll be able to weld all that in position. And then I'll be done. If it was only that easy. But at least I have a plan. And what we're going to need is 4 little metal boxes and 4 little end plates. That these will bolt to.